good morning. You're watching the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza.
Good morning, Navneet. I'm Agarwal. The top headlines. Indian markets decline after opening marginally in the green. Nifty trades about 10,700. India VIX cools off. In open interest in Muthoot Finance and TVS Motor Company surges after traders take fresh positions in their respective futures. B.S. Yediyurappa takes oath as Karnataka Chief Minister after Supreme Court refuses to stay his swearing-in ceremony. And Hindalco is the top loser after its net profit fell 25%, widely missing street estimates. And the heads of all banks put under the RBI's prompt corrective action will meet with the Finance Ministry officials today.
All right, those are the top headlines at this hour, but let's also tell you what's happening in the futures and options market right now. Just when you thought there was some bit of respite when the market opened in the green, but we've given up all those gains. I believe Nifty is down almost 35 to 40 points from the opening levels that one saw. Premium is also down to 10 points. Remember, yesterday's futures premium was almost 20 points towards the closing. Pull up Bank Nifty, that's the one which is going to be in focus today as the Bank Nifty weekly options, they expire. The premium has gone down from 30 points to almost 20 to 25 points. Watch out for this one. 26,200 is the current mark where the spot Bank Nifty is trading. In terms of other sectoral indices, majority of them so far have been trading in the green, but some bit of pressure seen for the Nifty Metals Index. I guess that's now around the day's low mark, which is trading with cuts of almost 1%, and some bit of weakness also seen for the Nifty Pharma as well as the Nifty Realty Index. But let's tell you what's happening in the options world. For Nifty strikes, the most active strikes as of now are the 10,800 call and the 10,700 put. Let me tell you, yesterday there was unwinding seen on the put side and call writing seen on the call side, and basically because of all that you saw the Nifty PCR also falling compared to the previous day. 10,800, watch out for that one because there's fresh writing which has come back, and 10,700 has seen some fresh additions so far in today's trade. On the Bank Nifty side, since it is the weekly options expiry day, let me first tell you which are the most active contracts as of now. 26,400 call followed by 26,500 call strike and the 26,100 put strike are being actively traded right now. What's the range that you should watch out for? It is between 26,000 on the downside to about 26,500 on the upside. I was just checking, there's a call writing seen around the 26,300, 400 and 500 mark, whereas on the put side majority of the action has come in on the 26,000, 26,100 and the 26,200 mark. So the volatility of almost 200 or 250 points can be expected in today's trade. In terms of institutions, Agam, FIs, as we've been mentioning, they're buying a lot of protections in the last 2 days. They've added almost over 40,000 contracts on the put long side.
Right. Well, Navneet, we're looking at a lot of traction in TVS Motor Company that's seen a lot of weakness on account of the brokerage downgrades and cut in price targets. 17% increase in open interest towards fresh shorts, even as the underlying declines by 3%. And Muthoot Finance is the other one, again on account of earnings, down nearly 5.5% and substantial shorts building up there as well. Tata Steel, surprisingly, given the fact that we've seen good earnings come through, however, to its credit, we have seen the stock surge before its earnings, so this is likely some profit taking coming in. Of course, 10% surge in open interest indicating shorts, and Granules India is now, well, trading at around the mark of 100. It's up 6.5%. Watch out for this one. It's been extremely volatile over the previous couple of months. Hindalco, well, bearing the brunt of its earnings, down as much as nearly 4%, 8% increase in open interest there as well. Let's take a look at some unwinding, and of course Reliance Communications stands out there given it did move into the F&O ban yesterday, but with that exception we don't have too much to speak for when it comes to Hexawatic, MRPL, ICICI Prudential. Once again, I continue to keep my eye on TVS Motor Company and Granules India along with Muthoot Finance and see how that's going to pan out in trade today, Navneet.
Well, we'll be watching out for all these stock futures which are active in today's trading session, and we'll also get some expert view going on that. But before we actually get our guest on the show, here's a reminder for you all. If you have any queries in the futures and options market, you can call us on 022-4540-4141. You can also write to us on Twitter or Facebook Facebook, and for the ones who are watching our show on YouTube, you can write your queries there as well. Just put in the hashtag AskPQ when you write your queries there. All right, it's time for us to get our F&O guest on the show. Amar Singh of Angel Broking and Aditya Agarwal of Way Too Well Securities are here with us. Good morning to both of you, gentlemen. Amar, if I could come to you first, are you taking any fresh trade on Nifty or Bank Nifty? Because the volatility continues. We had a opening which was mildly in the positive territory, but we've given up all those gains.
Yeah, you rightly said that we've seen some selling pressure coming both in Nifty and Bank Nifty on the back of the, I would say, political uncertainty and also some mixed Asian cues. So clearly reflecting that there is some profit booking also happening. And the trend, overall looking at the trend, I would say the short-term trend, yes, still trading with a positive bias. And the long-term trend definitely is up. So clearly reflecting that any dip can be used as a buying opportunity. As far as Nifty May futures is concerned, I would say from the current level, if we see a correction of 20-25 points, that can be a good level to buy, somewhere around 10,715, 720. With a stop loss below 10,660, because that's a very crucial support zone for Nifty. And a bounce back towards 10,820, 830, that can be a target. Because what we are seeing is that there is a pullback, but the markets are not sustaining. So clearly reflecting that there is some interest which is coming in at lower levels, but again that's not able to sustain. So it's more of a trader's range. To give you a broad range, I would say 10,600 on the downside and 10,800, 820 on the upside. That's what I see for Nifty is concerned. As far as Bank Nifty is concerned, what we're seeing in banks is that the negative news flows with regard to PSU banks is somewhat taking a toll on the Bank Nifty. Because the private sector banks, we are seeing them really perform. If you look at Kotak Mahindra Bank, it's trading, it's just on a one side up move. So Bank Nifty, I would say that yes, there is some weakness in Bank Nifty. As far as technical support for Bank Nifty comes, that first support is around 25,850 to 25,900. That should act as a first, I would say, crucial support. But on the upside, again, 26,350, 400, that would be a resistance. And today, yes, being expiry, so we are likely to witness some increased volatility. But on the downside, I would say immediate support would come around 26,000 to 26,050 on an intraday basis.
Okay, so those are the levels when it comes to Nifty and the Nifty Bank. That's your recommendation from Amar. But Aditya, good morning to you as well. How are you viewing trade on the benchmark indices now?
Morning, Agam. Well, Nifty and Bank Nifty, both these indices, we are negative for the short-term purpose. Means if we see Nifty in last 1.5 month, Nifty has seen a rally for almost 800 to 900 points. But on higher side, if we see for this series, then we are seeing some call lighting at 10,800, 11,000 strike options. So in this 200 points, there will be a lot of resistance in Nifty. And we saw that in day for yesterday's session, Nifty breached 10,900, and from those levels, sharp profit booking was seen. So we are expecting that Nifty may break 10,700 on lower side, and below that it can test 10,640, 10,600 levels also. So we are recommending our clients to initiate short positions on any pullback if Nifty comes again in the range of 10,740, 10,750. That will be a good time where one can go short in Nifty futures with a stop loss of 10,810, and on lower side 10,640 will be your first target, and below that 10,600 will be the next target. Now coming to Bank Nifty is comparatively better poised than Nifty. It means it has given a good breakout above 25,800. After that, we saw 1,000 points rally in Bank Nifty. But now we are seeing some profit booking sign. Strong private banking counters like HDFC Bank, IndusInd Bank, Kotak Bank. In these banking stocks also now we are seeing some sign of profit booking. So on back of profit booking, we are expecting that Bank Nifty may test 25,800. But yes, Bank Nifty will be pretty much volatile, as today is the expiry day. So we are recommending to buy put options for next weekly expiry, which is 24th May expiry. One can buy 26,200 put option for next week, which is quoting somewhere in the range of 175, 180. We are expecting target of 270 and stop loss of 110.
All right, so those are the strategies laid down by Aditya. On Nifty, he's recommending to sell the futures and he expects a target of 10,640. On Bank Nifty, as he said, buy the 26,200 put and he expects a target of nearly 270 there. Amar, what are the strategies on the option side that you have for Nifty or on Bank Nifty for the day?
I would say as far as option strategies, I would say for Nifty, I would recommend that there could be a pullback. So buying a 10,800 call option at 75 with a stop loss below 40 and a target of 125 in the, I would say, in a couple of days, because there could be some pullback. Yes, there is some selling pressure, but still there's a possibility of a pullback. So I would suggest a buy in a call option of 10,800 for Nifty.
Okay, and Aditya, how about you? How are you deploying options in such markets?
Well, in Bank Nifty, we are a little bit bearish. So we are advising to buy next week put option in Bank Nifty, which is 26,200 put option with a target of 270 and stop loss of 110. In Nifty, we are bearish, so one can buy 10,700 put option at current levels, which is trading somewhere in the range of 82 rupees. We are expecting target of 120, 125 in this, and one can keep a stop loss of 60.
Okay, those are some strategies on the index, but let's also get you some stock-specific strategies going for the day. Amar, in terms of individual stock futures, what are you betting on?
I would say Asian Paints is one stock one can definitely look at stock futures, because what we are seeing in Asian Paints is that it is, in spite of the market witnessing a sell-off, Asian Paints is extremely strong on the medium-term charts as well as the short-term charts. Currently, it's around 1322 odd levels or so. So any pullback around 1310 level can be a very good buying opportunity with a stop loss of 1287 and a target of 1367. And also, if you look at the OI data for Asian Paints, we are seeing that on the upside 1340 would be a level of resistance for Asian Paints, whereas on the downside support, I would say the maximum OI in the put side is at 1240. So I would suggest that any pullback should be used as a buying opportunity, because even on the monthly charts, it has had a breakout. And trading above 1250, 1260, that was initially a very strong resistance zone. So taking that level out and sustaining and holding clearly reflects that any pullback should be used as a buying opportunity. So that's the first one. And the second stock to look at is Marico. Marico futures one can look at, because Marico also, if we look on the charts, what we are seeing in Marico is that it has witnessed some pullback over the last couple of days, and it has got very strong support somewhere in the region of 305 or so. Currently, it's around 318, 320 levels. So any pullback towards 314 can be used for a buying opportunity with a stop loss of 308 and a target of 329 in the short term.
Okay, well, there are plenty of earnings to address, but before we go across to the earnings of GSFC, I just want to take Aditya's views and his stock picks of the day as well. Aditya, what are you recommending today based on the trends that you're witnessing?
Well, I have a one buy and one sell. Buy in Ujjivan. If we see Ujjivan in Equitas, both these microfinance companies, we are seeing a lot of buying at lower levels in both these companies. Ujjivan in last couple of days, stock has been quite volatile, but on lower side, 389, 390 is a very strong support, and the stock is not breaking those levels. So we're expecting that from these levels, again, we can see some short covering move, which can take a stock towards 420. So at current levels, one can buy Ujjivan with a stop loss of 389 and target of 420. Second stock will be a sell call in TVS Motors. Means if we see TVS Motors, yesterday we saw a good swing move on lower side, but stock recovered. But overall structure for the counter is weak. Stock has already given a breakdown with its crucial support zone of 600. And in today's session, again, we have seen 17 to 18% OI buildup, which is on short side. So we're expecting that selling pressure will continue. On lower side, stock can test 564 to 560 levels. So any pullback towards 590 can be used to initiate short positions in TVS with a stop loss of 605 and target of 564.
Okay, those are the individual ideas coming in from our technical experts, but let's address the earnings of GSFC. They reported a mixed quarter for the fourth quarter, and the fertilizer business actually reported a strong growth this time around. If you look at the industrial business growth, that remained muted. However, the focus remains on the prices that surged recently of caprolactam. We'll get more details on that one and how are their chemical business also performing. Let's find out from the management. Joining us now on the show is Mr. V.D. Nanavaty, Executive Director and CFO at the company. Mr. Nanavaty, good afternoon. Good morning, sorry, and thanks a lot for joining us on Bloomberg Quinn. I can see the fertilizer business growth has been pretty good. Operating performance overall, you've registered double-digit margins this time around of 11%, and the EBIT specifically from the fertilizer segment has seen a substantial pickup. If you could tell us the volume growth that one saw for both your fertilizer and chemical business for this quarter?
Yeah, so we have a strong volume growth of around 24% in Q4. and overall for the whole year it was around 30%, and we hope to continue this march in the current year also. We are targeting more than 25% volume growth in fertilizer. Caprolactam, which is a main chemical product in our portfolio, because of this rising crude prices, the caprobenzene spread has also improved recently. Last year it was around $800. It has gone to $1,000 and further improved to around $1,200 in the current scenario. So going forward, we will see more improved the industrial product performance also.
Right, Mr. Nanavaty, how are you viewing trends in raw material costs? I ask this because we've seen an expansion in margins despite the fact that there has been an upward trajectory for a lot of your inputs. Can you give us an idea about how these trends are developing for the company?
Yeah, in fertilizers, as you correctly mentioned, there is a pressure on the margin because of the rising input cost. The phosphoric acid price was increased from $567 in December to $678 and further to $730 in this Q1 18-19. So manufacturers were also forced to raise the MRP of this phosphatic fertilizer. It was increased by around 2,000 rupees in Q4, and again it has been increased by 1,000 rupees in this Q1, and there is further possibility of rise because of this dollar exchange rupee volatility, rupee getting lower and lower, which has crossed more than 68 now. So, but there is a limit at which the farmers will buy these fertilizers at such a high price. So it cannot be just kept on increasing. So there will be selling pressure and margin pressure on the fertilizers in the at least Q1.
Okay, which would also mean, Mr. Nanavaty, that the double-digit margin growth that you've registered, it may not be sustainable?
Possible, yeah, it will not be sustainable.
Okay, just wanted to get a word on the subsidy front. What's been the subsidy flow in the fourth quarter? If I'm not wrong, I think you were looking at a figure of somewhere 800 crore to come by the end of this fiscal.
Yeah, so government resorted to this special banking arrangement in Q4 and tried to clear as much subsidy as possible before rollout of DBT on pan-India basis. So for most of the companies, December 17 up to December 17 or January 18 dues have been paid, the clear dues, but there were some issues of the past coming because of the FMS system and all. So those issues remain, but government has tried to give possibility what is possible, and of course the newer budget is also passed with more provision for phosphatic fertilizers. So if the DBT things roll out properly at least on the technical side, if there are no problems, the subsidy flow will continue during this year also.
Okay, Mr. Nanavaty, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for joining us and giving us an update on the company's earnings. We will have to keep an eye on how your FY19 also pans out, and we will keep tracking those details. But moving on, let's address some of our viewer queries when it comes to the futures and options space. The first one comes on YouTube, and this one is from Nikhil Raja. And he actually has the PTC India 90 put that he holds, or rather he sold that one at a premium of around 1.25, and his question is, should he hold or exit? So can we take a look at the PTC India 90 put? He sold it at 1.25, and it seems he's looking at a substantial loss considering its premium is now at 3.45. Well, Amar, if I can take up this query with you, what is your view on PTC India right now, and what would you advise Nikhil Raja should do? Should he book losses considering it's substantially above its premium?
What I would say is that since he has sold a put, so he was bullish on the market. And if you look at it, PTC technically on the charts clearly reflecting the long-term as well as the medium-term trend that upside is going to meet with very strong resistance around 100 odd levels, and currently it's around 89 PTC. And if I look at the PTC put 90 put, that's currently around 3.45. So he's definitely lost money on that. So I would suggest that it is better to exit his position. There's no point in holding his position.
Okay, no point in holding the position. Better to exit is the call coming in on PTC India 90 put strike. Let's take our next query. I think we've got a live caller named Pramod with us. Hi Pramod, good morning to you and thanks a lot for calling us. Tell us what's your query on.
Ma'am, I just want to ask about Tata Steel. I'm currently holding 660 call.
Okay.
So what should I do about it?
What's the premium you paid for that position, Pramod?
8.05.
8.05. Okay, and I think it's come down substantially. It's out of the money call strike. Current premium on that one is somewhere about 2.7. Aditya, what would you advise him? We've seen a bit of softening in the stock price post the numbers, though it was a beat on the operational front. But looking at the technicals, would you advise him to just book losses right now?
And Namit, can you please repeat the counter, please?
Sure. It's Tata Steel 660 call strike, for which Pramod has paid a premium of 8 rupees and the current premium is quoting around 2.75.
Well, I would advise him to exit this position. Means whatever the premium is left, he should book loss and exit from this. As overall, if we see Tata Steel, it is still trading in a band of 580 and 640, 642 odd levels. And today, after the result, we have seen a good correction in this counter. So we may see a minor pullback, but again, means his position will not come in profit in this counter. So I would advise him to exit. At a lower level, I'm expecting the Tata Steel may again test 600 to 590 levels.
All right. Well, we have another query on Axis Bank. Rajesh Nair on YouTube writes, and well, he actually wants to get an idea what to do with Axis Bank right now. Can we take a look at the Axis Bank futures and see where they're currently trading at? There you have it. It's May futures currently quoting 547. Very little change in the underlying, down by as much as 0.7% for now. Little change in the open interest too, an increase of less than 1%. Amar, can you help Rajesh Nair with a view on Axis Bank towards the long or the short side right now?
Yeah, overall looking at Axis Bank, the way Axis Bank rallied post its results from almost 480 levels to currently around 540, 546, but it seems to be consolidating, and somewhere in the region of 550, 560, that's a very strong resistance zone for it. So buying a call option, I would not recommend, because if it doesn't take out the 560 call option for Axis Bank is around 7.5 right now. So I would not recommend, because buying a call when we would be close to expiry, and also when the trend is not very clear, so he would be losing out on the time decay, that is theta. So I would not recommend at least buying a call option in Axis Bank.
Okay, not recommending to buy any call option in Axis Bank. Let me just take the next query. This one comes from Jatin Agarwal. He writes to us on YouTube. He's got the 11,000 call strike of Nifty, for which he's paid a premium of 29 rupees. He wants to know what to do with it. And he's also asking, can we see any upside due to election, Jatin? Well, the election result is out. Mr. Yediyurappa has already been sworn in. Everything now hinges on the Supreme Court verdict tomorrow. But nevertheless, let me just tell you, even when the results came out from Karnataka election, we did touch the 10,900 mark. There is a strong resistance. Nifty came off that mark. 13.25 is the current premium, and you've paid a premium of 29. Aditya, will it be wise enough to hold on till expiry now, this option?
Well, I think he should still, means he still has some 13 rupees in this option, so he should exit. As I am not expecting that Nifty can test 11,000 at least in this series. My overall view is slightly range bound to weak. I am expecting Nifty to trade in a broad range of 10,600 to 10,800. So 11,000 is still quite far. So I would advise him to exit from this call option at current levels.
Okay, well, we have another interesting query on ITC. We've started to get analyst estimates on the cigarette volumes for the quarter gone by. Remember, we've had the earnings come through. Of course, ITC doesn't report their volumes for cigarettes, but the estimates are anywhere between a decline of around 2 to 3%. That said, I don't really want to mix fundamentals with technicals, but that was the fundamental aspect. Today, ITC is down by as much as 0.3%, and there's very little change in open interest. The reason why I'm pulling this up is because our next query is on ITC from Money Monster, and he asks, what can we do with ITC right now? So, Aditya, I'm going to come back to you on this one. If I can take ITC up with you, what levels are you keeping an eye on when it comes to ITC?
Well, if we see overall structure for ITC, it is quite positive. It has some resistance in the zone of 285, 286, and for around those levels, counter is struggling. But I don't see much correction in this counter. If it comes in the zone of 275, 274, it will be a very good level to initiate fresh long positions with a stop loss of 270, and first target will be 285. If that is broken, then we can see some significant up move in ITC. In that case, stock can test 298 to 305 levels. So overall structure for ITC is quite strong. So any decline in ITC can be used to initiate long positions. So I won't advise anyone to go short in ITC at current levels. In fact, any dip can be used to make long positions.
Okay. Don't go short at current levels. In fact, you can use the dips to buy. Just going to take one query from Facebook. Ratnakar Panda writes to us. He's holding Walk Hard 900 call strike, for which he's paid a premium of 10. And remember, that's deep out of the money call strike that he's bought, because the current price of Walk Hard is somewhere about 711. Even if you look at the current premium that it's quoting, it's only about ₹1. Amar, what would you advise, though all the money has been deteriorated here? Would you advise him to just exit with that ₹1 premium, or there is some hope that the premium can go higher till the expiry?
See, overall, I would say, as far as technically looking at Walk Hard definitely has some very strong support around 700 odd levels or so. Currently it's around 714. So there is a possibility of a pullback, and now he has nothing much to lose. So I would suggest that he can hold on to his call option. But only my advice to those who are buying options, that they shouldn't hold it till expiry. This is not futures. You have to understand, if the option doesn't go, if the underlying doesn't go anywhere, you lose daily on the time decay, that is theta. So somewhere you have to have a clear-cut strategy of when you should exit.
Okay, guys, we've run out of time. So for all those queries that haven't been answered, be rest assured we will take them up in the next show. But with that, I'd like to thank both our experts, Amar and Aditya, for joining us and taking us through their views, and also helping some of our viewers out there. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show. But don't go anywhere. Lots more lined up, so stay tuned in the Bloomberg Quint.